Ciao, doctor.
Ciao, ci siamo.
I put up the slides. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me. It's very nice to find you again. Thank you for joining us today. And today we were hoping to give you very good news about the lockdown. So it's not exactly what I expected, but we have some news for you. Let's have a look. Okay, first of all, I want to tell you that today we have a very special guest, and this is Mr. James R. Elliot. He's an international trainer on human performance and motivational speaker. We have asked him to join us today to give us a speech to tell us a little bit about how to find clarity and manage anxiety during this hard period. Okay, I don't know about you, but I start feeling really a bit depressed and anxious, a bit lost. I cannot really see the tunnel at the end, the light, sorry, at the end. So we have asked James to help us today. The second topic, I'm going to talk to you about the new presidential decree on COVID-19's containment measures. It has come out yesterday. Our Prime Minister, Mr. Conte, has presented all the new measures. And we will look at them together now. So we start from this now, and then we give the word to our guest speaker, to James, sorry. Okay, so there's been a lot of talk about phase 2. What is phase 2? Phase 2 is basically we start to, not to fight the virus only, but to adjust to it and to live with it. So changing our habits to accommodate the virus in our life. Okay, there are not many changes, unfortunately, but there are a few that will help us to survive. Okay, the thing I want to tell you is that you always have to wear a mask. This is still compulsory, so every time you get out the house, you need to wear a mask. There's been a lot of talk about prices of masks, and they said they will put them down to a maximum of 50-60 cents each, and you will be able to purchase them at pharmacies. You will need to take with you a form where you certify that you move from one address to another address. This is still in place, and it is until the 18th of May. There will be a new form available because now there's an additional reason you can go out, and this is to visit your friends. No, sorry, not your friends, your family members. Exactly, not your friends. It is possible to exercise and go for a walk. So this is the best thing that has changed. You can go out for a walk, even if it's not in close proximity of your place, and parks will reopen. Even in parks, you will need to keep a distance from the person next to you, and it's in parks, it will be 2 meters. It will be possible, as I said, to visit family members only, okay, wearing a mask. It is now mandatory if you stay at home, to stay at home if you have a fever. Before it was recommended, now it is actually mandatory. From the 18th of May, this is the second stage of phase 2. There will be the opening of museums, library, and shops, while bar and restaurants and hairdressers and estheticians will reopen from the 1st of June. So this is what's going to happen. We need to be patient a little bit longer and to stay inside for a little bit longer. Okay, I just want to mention this for our students who are in Milan, if you have symptoms that are similar to a flu, you need to contact the regional number and explain to the operator what you are experiencing, and they will guide you. So this is the number 800-894-545. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, I was really hoping that with this new presidential decree, we would have been free to leave our places and to just walk and start to live a little bit as we used to. This is not the case, and therefore we really, I think we need some extra help to keep us grounded and to make sure we don't lose our mind. So we have asked James, our Elliot, to give us a speech. James, are you online? James?
There we go. I was muted. Can you guys hear me? And can you see me? My camera should be coming along. There we go. Can you see me okay?
Yes, now we can see you.
Excellent.
Thank you, James. So James, as I mentioned, is an international trainer on human performance. So you can tell us what does this mean? And you're actually joining us all the way from Canada, is that right?
That's right, Toronto, Canada. Yes, it's still kind of cold here.
What is it like in Canada with the coronavirus?
It's locked down, maybe not quite as tightly as Italy. However, yes, we can go for walks, but you have to stay at least 6 feet or 2 meters away from people. There's limited travel. Really, the only stores that are open are grocery stores, and only a certain amount of people can be in at the same time. And a lot of restaurants are closed, or they only offer delivery. So it's an interesting situation. The streets are pretty quiet. I do try to get out for a walk most days because I can't stand being inside. So we're allowed to go out for a walk as long as we stay away from other people. But any gatherings, groups, people close together, you get $1,000 ticket right on the spot.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You know, Italy has been hardly hit, although I want to say to our students that infections are actually going down and the number of fatalities as well. And this is why we're ready to start phase 2. So please, James, tell us a little bit about what you do, and then you can start with guiding us through this difficult period, and then we can take questions at the end.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I do, thank you, by the way, for the opportunity. Hey, everyone. My name is James R. Elliot from Toronto, Canada, and I'm an international motivational speaker. I'm an international trainer, and what I really help people with is basically taking action, moving towards what they want, and working effectively and efficiently, and really just going after what they want and what they really want in their life, and doing it effectively, doing it efficiently, managing fear, managing anxiety, managing stress and worry, because those are usually the things that prevent us from taking action. I also help people as almost a game changer and really changing their inner game, their inner selves, again, so they can powerfully go after whatever it is they want in their studies, in their career, in their business, and of course their relationships, since life is just a collection of relationships. So in a nutshell, that's what I do. I teach courses, I speak motivationally and train. I just recently wrote a best-selling book called Unleash Your Power, Stand Out, Take Action, and Create the Success You Want. It's on Amazon, best-selling book. The Kindle version's online, or if you want to email me, I can get you the PDF or the paper copy. If you really want the paper copy, I can sign it and send it to you. So couple options as well for you there. Am I still coming okay? I'm coming across clear?
Yes,
Perfect.
you are.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Well, today, guys, I was asked to share some of my great things and some of my best things with you. So I wanted to share several things because I know some of you are at home in your own country. Some of you had chosen to stay in Italy, which is not your own country. And I can appreciate that. I can definitely appreciate that. Things are very strange, and things are very I guess bothersome and worrisome, even here in my own country, my own town, let alone if you are not in your home country, if you're not with your family. And I know there have been several webinars that the school, the university has hosted around COVID-19 and how to thrive during this time and how to operate during this time. And what I wanted to do is give you some really great stuff today around hope, around fear, around stress, and around anxiety, and really how to manage these and how to minimize these in your life so that you can go be what you want and do what you want and be who you want to be. So I wanted to read you a couple things. This one is a little note I got today, actually. And it says, so I want you to ponder and think about this for just a moment. And it goes like this. Fear just means you've forgotten how fortunate you are, how deeply you're loved, how safe you actually are, and how happiness will return like you've never known it before. And that's from a group called TUT, or Notes from the Universe. So it's something definitely to think about, because we are very fortunate. I'll touch on that in a little bit. So what I wanted to do for you all, I wanted to do a little metaphor for you. So we've heard this metaphor about a glass half full, and I thought I'd take a poll here, and just feel free to put in the chat. There's going to be 3 questions I'm going to ask you today. So this cup, can anyone see it? This cup here. Would you say the cup is half full? Would you say the cup is half empty? Or would you say the cup is completely full? What do you think? Is this cup completely full? Is it half full, or is it half empty? What do you think? Feel free to put your thoughts in the chat. What do you think? Half full, half empty, or can you even see it as completely full? What do you think? What do you think, guys? I'd love to see really quick in the message here. Cool. I'll wait a couple more seconds. Is this cup half full, half empty, or is it possibly completely full? Right on, right on. Vitika is correct. You're all correct, in fact, but Vitika is correct. It's completely full. It's half full with air, and it's half full with water. Right, so what I wanted to share with you is that life is all about perspective. Life is all about perspective. And exactly, Daniel, yeah, completely full. Exactly, guys. So the cup is completely full. And I wanted to show you that, to demonstrate that however you see it is perfect. There's no wrong way to see it. There's no right way to see it. If half full, half empty, or completely full, right? In reality, it is completely full. But it's all about your perspective. And life is all about your perspective, right? So what I want you to get out of that is I'd like you to always look to the learnings and the positive outcome of a situation. And always there are learnings and things that make us stronger in any situation, good or bad, things that make us stronger, that make us better, that make us more capable for what our future selves need, our future careers, our future relationships demand of us. So the hard times, the tough times, the bad times, quote unquote bad times, simply prepare us for what we need to be in the future. And think about that for a minute. Think of all your hardships in your life, because this is not the first one, right? This is not the first hardship in your life. And think about how the hardships, the challenges, the difficulties have prepared you. I had a lot of challenges with math in school, and that prepared me, and that taught me to work hard for what I want. And now owning my own business, working hard and having a lot of drive is pretty natural to me. It allows me to get ahead of other business owners who don't quite have that drive or that hard work ethic. And also remember that this too shall pass. It always does. These things always pass, right? We're stuck in things. We're stuck in the glass. We're stuck in the moment, and we're fearful. We're sad. We're depressed. We're anxious. We're upset. Maybe we're worried. You know, things always pass. And when you look to learn and grow from something, anything, you will always come out better in the end. I promise you, there's always learnings from any event, any failure. And I'm using quotes because there is no failure in life. There is no failure. There's only feedback and learning. In fact, there is this, you all probably know the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of what you do will get you 80% of the results. Also, 20% of the actions you take will get you 80% of your results. And the other 80% of the actions are simply learning, simply growth areas and growth situations, right? And where you become more capable. So think for a moment. And in fact, I have a task for you today or tonight or tomorrow. In fact, do it as soon as you can. I want you to write down all the things that you are learning right now about how you become better, stronger, more resilient, more capable, and more independent after all this is over. How has this taught you to become stronger, better, more self-reliant, more independent, more capable, more resilient? Because I guarantee it has. And is this a message perhaps? I'm going to teach you some really cool tools in a minute, but I want you to think for a moment. Is this a message? Is this a forced reevaluation of your life, your direction in life, your purpose in life, and maybe even your health? Is this a forced reevaluation of all this? Because remember, the healthier we are, the more resilient we are to things like this virus, future viruses, anything that happens to us. Is this a forced reevaluation? And maybe it's forcing you to look at things, because this has taught us that life can be snuffed out in an instant, whether it's hit by a bus, whether it's a coronavirus, whether it's anything. And I don't mean to get too negative, but think about it. Life is precious. Life is very beautiful and it's precious. And maybe it's forcing you to look at your own life situation and who you're being. Are you living your own life versus trying to please someone or to look good or to, make others look bad, or to please your parents or please your relatives, please your family, right? Especially your relatives and your family. And avoiding, maybe is it teaching us to avoid worrying about what others think about us and to really think about what is important to you in life and what your direction really is and what you really want. And that's a powerful thing, because so many of us get caught up in running around this race of I got to do this, I got to do that, I really should do this, I should do that, and this is what a good person does, this is what a good man does, this is what a good woman does. And we all get caught up in doing what we think we should do, or what society tells us we should do, or what our family and our parents and religion, culture, society, country, whatever tells us we should do. Who do you want to be? How do you want to be? You're in a great school learning amazing things. How do you want to take that into the world? Do you want to take it and make it yours? Or do you want to do it the exact way everyone else does, or the way someone told you you need to do, or the way your parents told you need to be, or just pleasing whoever it is, or trying to look good, right? Just trying to look good. I encourage you to figure out your way. And that is going to give you true fulfillment, because again, life can be so short, yet it's also amazing, and it can be amazing. So the coronavirus and these hard times in life are really teaching us about what's important in life. So I challenge you and encourage you to really write down what's important to you, and write down what you are learning about yourself and how you're becoming better, faster, stronger, and how you can do your own thing, right? Tony Robbins, who you may or may not be familiar with. So Tony Robbins, he's an international, I would say, human motivation guru. And he says that one of the biggest keys to success is emotional state management. So what is that? Well, emotional state management is the ability to do what you need to do in your life and your career, your business, your schooling, and be who you need to be, no matter how you feel. And quickly being able to go from a place of being sad to being excited or pumped, confident, ecstatic, driven, to being, depressed or scared or fearful. Again, to a place where you're pumped, you're confident, you're ecstatic, you're fired up, you're driven, you're powerful. So that is, as he says, one of the biggest keys and one of the biggest indicators and tools for success. So I'm going to teach you some things about that. And I'd like you also to think about this time with the COVID-19, with coronavirus, with any crisis, any stressful situation in life. I'd like you to think of it as almost a reinvention of yourself, or an opportunity to reinvent yourself. Because to reinvent yourself, you have to take a big risk and you have to call on courage, right? And that's what's happening now. We all have to call on courage, and things are a bit risky now. And if you want to get ahead and be who you want to be, you're going to have to take a risk, and you're going to have to call on courage. Because if you're on the threshold and it feels risky and scary, then it's actually more likely to be a big shift, a big transformation, a big growth area for you, and a big reinvention. And that's the good news. And during a reinvention or transformation, you need to shift your way of life, and you may need to let something go, or let an old way of doing something go, or sacrifice something, or invest in yourself, whatever it is. Invest in your time, your money, energy, invest with your thoughts, invest with self-reflection. And reinvention and transformation, especially during this time, and coming out on top from all this, coming out even better from all this, because you can come out even better than before after all this. Coming out better after reinvention and transformation needs a leap of faith. It needs a moment of truth. It needs courage, because it's not going to happen on its own. You have to take it. And you can think of all this as, oh, this is so terrible, and oh, I'm depressed and sad, and the world's ending, and this is really, really bad. And yes, this is a very serious time, and it's a sad time, a very sad time, very serious time with a lot of challenges. And also, it's a time to push us to grow, push us to be better. And you can either think, woe is me, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm not going to do anything, I'm going to stick my head in the sand, and I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to wait and see, or wait it out, or I'm going to see what happens. Because yes, it can be a terrifying time, a scary time, right? It's kind of like, right now, it's like how a lobster in the sea, a lobster, it molts or sheds its shell. When it has to grow, it actually has to shed its shell and leaves its shell behind. And right then, it's just a soft organism. It's very vulnerable. It's terrifying. It's very fragile without its protective shell. And until the new shell grows, it's in a very vulnerable state. That's kind of what you're doing right now. You're shedding a previous shell. You're in a vulnerable, fragile, maybe fearful, anxious, scary time, until that new shell grows for you. That new person grows. So it's appropriate for everyone to feel anxious or stressed or frustrated, maybe angry, maybe overwhelmed. It's very, very normal and to feel this way. And that's a good sign that you're growing. So let's get into some cool stuff. This is how to find clarity in times of uncertainty, stress, or even crisis. So if you want to find clarity in times right now, or any time of crisis or uncertainty, so one thing, do the work on yourself. Whatever it is, personal development, read a book, meditation. You can download my book if you want from Kindle. It's called Unleash Your Power, Stand Out, Take Action, and Create the Success You Want. So if you want to search James R. Elliot, Unleash Your Power on Amazon. So do the work on yourself. Find a course, find a mentor, find a self-study, read a book, even just reflect, meditate, whatever it is. Reflect on every day, what you've learned every day, what you've learned from every failure in your life is a great way to find clarity in times of failure, in times of stress, uncertainty, crisis, right? So write these things down. And all the things that are overwhelming you, write them down, get it out of your head, because it brings down the overwhelm. When everything's in your head stewing around, it creates such a time of overwhelm, because everything's going on in your head, and if things are moving around and you're focusing on too many things at once. So write it down on paper. And I promise you that writing it down will bring you down out of overwhelm. It'll calm you down. And it'll let you look at this list and be like, well, this stuff isn't really that much to worry about. So, and I always do this, by the way. Anything that's overwhelming me, stressing me, I write it all down. I promise you, it'll make a big, big difference. Get it out of your head and onto paper. And anything, that overwhelms you, and you'll find makes a big difference. Plus, doing this will help you be more productive because you can create a list for personal and a list for professional, business, career, for school. You have 1 or 2 or 3 lists if you want, and write down all your worries, your fears. If you want to write down your ideas as well. So that's number 1. Number 2, how to create clarity in times of crisis or uncertainty is create your own clarity, guys. Create your own clarity. People usually lack their own sense of clarity, and they ignore that during our regular habitual or routine lives of pattern, a day-to-day. We often lack our sense of clarity even then. And right now it forces us to be clear and to need clarity, to actually really think for ourselves, because usually we're just doing the automatic movements every day and we don't have a sense of clarity or what we want anyways, right? So the biggest thing is to decide who you want to be, who you're going to be, what you're going to do, what you need to do, what is needed of you. So just decide who you're going to be, what you're going to do, write it down, sit down and take action. What do you need to do? For me this week, it's all about contacting people, letting them know my courses, which were formerly only in person, now are going to be an online version. There's an online version to a lot of my courses that are going to happen in June, which is really exciting. There's a virtual version via Zoom. So that's one thing. And designing some new programs this week too, versus waiting and seeing, or putting my head in the sand, or fearing and doing nothing, or just being anxious and focusing on the worst stuff, right? So who do you want to be, guys? Think, who do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? And decide and take action on that. As much action as you can in the circumstances. Because where there's a will, there's a way. You might not be able to do everything you need to do or want to do, but I promise you, where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm not a fan of the words, I can't, right? I'm not a fan of the words, I can't. Not in me, not in my family, not in my friends, and especially not in my clients. Where there is a will, there's a way. Where there's a desire to do something, there's a way to do it. I promise you, even if it's not visible, my nose is itchy, even if it's not visible right then and there, even if there's a wall in front of you or there's something blocking you or a barrier, if you want to do something, there's a way to do it. Find that way to do it, right? For example, many people have found ways to continue school, to continue business, to continue teaching via online platforms, by video conference, by phone, right? So just ask yourself, am I being the man I want to be, or am I being the woman I really want to be? And if not, who is that person? Who is that person, right? And I can help you find that out too. One of the things I do is help people find out through something called the internal drive history. They find out, who is that man or woman you really want to be and that you've always wanted to be? Who is that? So decide, who is that? And then here's the secret. Look at a mentor, a superhero. Find a mentor, find a superhero to you. Doesn't matter if they're a superhero mentor to anyone else. Find a superhero to you. What are they doing? How are they thinking? How are they acting? How are they reacting? How are they feeling? So pick a superhero, a mentor. Could even be a family member, a friend, a teacher, a colleague, a manager, whatever it is. A mentor, a coach, a speaker. Find that person. Find a superhero to you. And look at what they're doing and model it. Model that. And see, and try to do your best every day while still being yourself, to follow their actions, follow their way of thinking. What are they doing? How are they acting? How are they reacting? Right? And that'll help you get to be who you want to be, if you even need that. It's a great way. Model excellence. If you find someone doing something that you want to do, or behaving in a way you want to behave, or having something that you want to have, model them while being yourself still. Model their behaviors, their thoughts, their actions, their way of being, their decisions, and what they do. And, have them as your superhero or your mentor or whatever you want to call them. And think, what would he do in this case? What would she do in this case? And it doesn't matter if it's a superhero like Superman or Superwoman, or if it's a friend, a family, a teacher. Anyone can be a superhero to you. So find a superhero or a mentor to you. So any questions? Then I'm going to get on to some specific techniques to manage anxiety, to manage stress, and manage overwhelm. Any questions so far, guys? And you know what? I'm gonna answer Thorisina's question. You're right. You're absolutely right. I give this as an option to people who aren't sure what to do. You're absolutely right. You can create it yourself. If you know what you want yourself, and go create it. And if you know how to do it and who you want to be, absolutely do it yourself. Absolutely. Having a model or a mentor as a model is not a bad idea as well, especially if you know what you need to do, but you're not quite sure how to get there. Look at someone who already has it, and you know, while being yourself, of course, absolutely. Figure out the actions, the thoughts, the behaviors that have helped them get there. It's kind of just a way of looking at things, and kind of a hint and a tip, if you will, to how to get to where they are if you don't know. Because we can all use help sometimes. We can all use feedback and advice and suggestions. And absolutely, yes. You know, I avoid being the same as other people. Avoid doing the same as others. And that's my big key message, my key point here. If you need a mentor or a model or someone to model, absolutely. If you want to just do it on your own, and if you know what you need to do, and that's often though where we fall short. We know what we want, but we don't quite know how to get there. So that was my suggestion, why to mentor someone, why to model someone, if you will, because we know where we want to go. I want what that person has, I want that success, or I want this, you know, I want this for myself. Look at some people who created similar things for themselves and see what you can do within yourself. So, yeah. Hope that answers your question, because you're absolutely right. Be yourself, but make that you. Absolutely. Instead of being like someone else, be yourself, but just kind of look at their behaviors or actions that have gotten them to where they are and use that to guide you. Any other questions before we move on to some specific tools for you guys? I'm going to drink my glass. Cool. Any other questions, guys? Cool. All right. So a couple of things, guys. Couple things. I'm going to teach you something first. In traditional Chinese medicine, often the thumb is associated with worry and fear. So often, if you want a quick technique, just hold your thumb. Hold one of your thumbs, doesn't matter which, with the other hand, and almost until you feel like a pulsing, or your pulse or your heartbeat, but hold it for a little bit, and you'll find the anxiety and worry goes down. And what you can do is, after you hold it for a little bit, you can switch if you want to the other one and hold that and just breathe. And I'll teach you a breathing technique in a minute. So try it. It's a really, really powerful tool, guys. A really cool tool on how to basically calm yourself down. And you don't have to hold it up. You can do it in your lap, of course, and no one can see you. You don't have to hold it up high, but I'm just trying to show you. So your thumb. And then when you're good on that side, you can switch back to this side. And it's a really great traditional Chinese medicine tool, because again, a lot of the meridian for our worry and fear often is connected to our thumb. So anyways, that's one technique. The second technique I want to teach you is called 4-7-8 breathing. So it's a breathing technique. And what it is, it's simply you inhale for 4 seconds, then you hold it for 7 seconds, and then you exhale over 8 seconds. So try it with me. You'll even see what happens to my own voice as we do this. So everyone try this. We inhale over 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now hold it for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhale over 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then just breathe normally. So this is called 4-7-8 breathing. It's a very powerful breathing technique. One of the most powerful I have ever found for helping you relax. And obviously you can do more than one. You can do 2 or 3. We'll do a couple more. But it's a very, very, very powerful technique. So we'll do it again. Inhale with me. 1, 2, 3. Hold it for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale over 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So notice how you feel even after only a couple of these breaths. And I can stifle yawn. Excuse me, because I'm also more relaxed now. It's a very powerful technique. I usually do 3 to 5 of these. 3 to 5 of these when I'm stressed out, when I need to be relaxed, and when I'm anxious or fearful, or just even if I need to calm down and focus. It's very, very powerful. Very powerful. Also, when there's a couple more things you can do. One other thing would be to kind of zone out. So focus on a point. If you just focus on a point somewhere, and if you zone out for a minute and kind of open your peripheral vision here. So you can put your hands here if you want. If you want to wiggle your fingers, just kind of open up your peripheral vision and just kind of zone out. Focus on a spot, but also zone out. And you'll almost get a blurring sensation here. You can look up a little bit if you wish. It often helps to look up. And just focus on a spot. And you'll notice a bit of a defocusing. And again, put your hands here if you want. Become more aware of your peripheral vision. Bring your hands back. You start here if you want and bring them back. Just notice your hands. And this also activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us calm down, helps us relax, and helps us deal with what we need to deal and just do what we need to do. So another tool for you there. Again, I'll relax you further. I get stifle. Excuse me. I'm relaxing a little too much, maybe. Relaxing too much. So that's another one too. It's basically your peripheral vision again. Zone out and focus on a single spot in front of you. Look up if you want. That also helps. And then have your peripheral vision open up just with using your hands. And you come all the way back here. I can still see my fingers. That's another technique. There's another technique I'm going to show you guys. And it's more of an exercise I'll guide you through. More of an exercise. Any questions before we move on? Any questions before I take you through this exercise? Cool. Excellent. Okay, excellent. Any questions, by the way, feel free to ask during the exercise or during my speech, and then there'll be time afterwards to ask any questions as well. So this next one, this is a tool. Anytime you have anxiety, anytime you have fear, this is a bit of a technique you can take yourself through at any time. So I'm going to teach you this. So anything you're anxious right now about, anything you're worried about right now, anything you're fearful right now, anything. Maybe it's COVID-19, getting back to normal, being healthy, getting good grades at the end of the semester, getting a great job at the end of school. Anything you're anxious about or fearful or worried now, think about it for a second. And what I want you to do is close your eyes for a moment. So close your eyes. And I want you to visualize and imagine yourself floating up high in the sky, like as high as an airplane is. Maybe you have wings on, maybe you put a cool jet pack or a rocket pack on, or maybe you put a hot air balloon, you get in a hot air balloon, or tie a bunch of helium balloons to your hands and you float up. However you want to float up, or maybe you have your own personal jet. What I want you to do is to visualize yourself floating high above right now. Float high up, like you're as high up as an airplane, almost like you're looking out of an airplane window and looking down, and everything's teeny, 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 tiny down below. Everything, all the roads, all the lines are teeny, teeny, tiny, thin as a hair down below. And there's a very powerful technique, guys, for anxiety, fear, and worry. So float up high above now, and you almost like you're looking down through your own eyes. Look like you're looking down. You're safe. Trust me, you're very safe. And remind yourself that you are safe. Looking down towards now. It's very high in the sky. What I want you to do, I want you to float out into the future. Float out. Just rocket with your rocket pack or your balloons or a hot air balloon or your wings. Fly out or float out, or maybe you're on a zip line. You have that zip line zipping out towards the future. Oh, you zip out towards the future. And what I want you to notice as you zip out towards the future, I want you to notice the successful completion of the event which you were previously anxious about, previously worried about, previously fearful about. So I want you to visualize that, floating high above the sky, looking down below. I want you to see that event completing successfully, whatever it is. COVID-19 being over, you doing well in your studies, you're getting great grades, you're getting a great job afterwards, a great career. You're getting your MBA, you're doing really well, honor, whatever it is, you get a great career afterwards, whatever it is, visualize the successful completion of whatever it is that you thought you were anxious or fearful or worried about. Visualize that completing successfully. It's going well, you completed, you're happy, you're celebrating, you got it. Visualize that completing, visualize it happening for you. It's irrelevant, however it happens, just visualize it completing successfully, it going well for you. You achieved it, it went well. So visualize that successful completion of whatever it is. So visualize that for a minute. Just visualize it completing successfully, it went well for you, it's done, it's over with, it went well. And when you're done visualizing that it went well, it's completed, it's successfully, it's done, what I want you to do is float out further into the future. Float out further in the future, further than that event completing successfully. Float out, I don't know, half an hour, hour into the future, whatever you like, whatever your intuition says. Float out even further into the future. And now what I want you to do, turn and look back toward now with your own eyes, looking through your own eyes, floating high above the timeline, high above your life. Look back and notice that you're way past the future, past the successful completion of that event. So you're looking back on now. You see that event happened. It's done. It already happened. It's complete. It's successful. The event's done and over with. Looking back towards now, you see the event that happened successfully. You're looking you can see way far ahead is now, right now. And ask yourself, where is the anxiety? Where's the fear? Where's the worry? Is it gone now? Is it gone now? And if not, feel free to float, or if it's almost gone or much reduced, float even further into the future. Again, visualizing, making sure you visualize the successful completion. It happened, it went well, you did well, you completed it successfully of whatever event, whatever opportunity, thing you needed to do, test, exam, school, getting a job, whatever. Being safe, all everything going back to normal after COVID-19, you doing well. Visualize successful completion. If the anxiety is not quite gone yet, float even further into the future and then turn and look back toward now, above your life. Look back toward now, floating, and the anxiety, the fear, the worry will be gone now. And if it's still a little bit left, float even further into the future and turn and look forward toward now. Float as far into the future as you need. Turn, look back, make sure you are visioning the successful completion of whatever you thought you were worried or fearful or anxious about. Successful completion. Good. And what I want you to do is come back to now, whether it's your balloon, your wings, your jet, your rocket pack. I want you to fly or float or zip back to now, past the successful completion of that event, all the way back to now, and then float down onto the ground and come back into now and open your eyes. That one is such a powerful technique. I used it with people with PTSD, with trauma, with phobias, with fears, with massive anxiety, you name it. It's very, very powerful. And it's useful for things with specific anxiety. So you need to do it on a specific thing. You can't just do it for all anxiety. You could try, I suppose, but use it for specific anxiety. And anytime you want, you can use it as many times as you want. You may have to use it more than once. If it's a specific thing, you're good today, you may get anxious another day, or the next day, or tomorrow, next week. That's a really powerful tool. And it's all how I want to explain how your brain works and why that works so well. But it's all based on how your brain works and how your brain stores time. It's a very powerful technique. Very, very, very powerful technique. So enjoy it. Remember, all you're doing is floating up above now, high, like you're like an airplane, so high everything looks teeny tiny down below. Float out to the future, wherever your future is. Visualize the successful completion of the event you thought you were anxious about. The key word here is successful completion. It went well. It's already done. And then float past that even further into the future and turn, look back towards now, whatever now is for you, and notice that the anxiety is gone. If it's almost gone or a little bit left or not quite gone, keep floating into the future further and turn, look back towards now, past the successful completion of that event. And when the fear, worry, or anxiety is gone, just zip back or float back or fly back to now, and then zip back to the earth and open your eyes. It's a very, very powerful technique, guys. Very powerful. It's being used with the U.S. Army and the U.K. Army and military for soldiers, for PTSD, for trauma. It's part of something called timeline therapy. And so if they're using it on military, on the Army, it's very, very powerful and very useful. So that's one technique from this tool set called timeline therapy, one of my favorite tool sets, in fact. Any questions? That was a bit more of a complex one. Any questions, guys? Questions, concerns, comments? How did it go? How did it go? Cool. If any questions, feel free to type them. The reason this works, guys, the reason this works is because fear and worry and anxiety are a sign that you're focusing on the wrong thing. Your focus is on the wrong thing. You're focusing on the fear, the worry, the doomsday, the I can't, versus focusing on what you want and what you want to achieve and how you can achieve it, right? So your focus is key. What you focus on is what you'll get. Your 10% conscious mind and what you focus on will direct the 90% of your brain, your unconscious or subconscious mind. It'll direct that on what you want to achieve. So if you're feeling fearful or worried or anxious, have it be a sign to you that you're focusing on what you don't want. You're focusing on the negative. And you need to shift and change that focus on what it is you do want. And this applies to anything in life, anything, what you want to achieve, your goals. Focus on what you want to achieve versus what you don't want to achieve. I want to be fit versus I don't want to be fat. I want to be successful versus I don't want to be a failure. I want to be rich versus I don't want to be poor. I want to be, be confident and charismatic, and I want to be a leader versus I don't want to be a, whatever. Focus on what you want in every area of your life, guys. Set goals by focusing on what it is you want and what you want more of, what you want to achieve. Because what you focus on is what you will get. And I teach that in my 5 pillars of personal success and transformation talk. There's literally 5 pillars of success and transformation. And it's so, so, so important, guys. So important to focus on what you want. So if you're anxious, fearful, worried, you're focusing on what you don't want, whether it's before a test, before an exam, before an overview, before an examination, before an interview. You're focusing on what you don't want. So focus on what you do want, and you'll be happy. You'll be confident. You want to do things. Instead of focusing on the doomsday and the negative, how things suck right now, focus on how things are, how excited you're going to be to go back outside and be free and do whatever you want and with whoever you want, be who you want, do what you want, right? It is very, very powerful when you do that, when you focus on what you want. So realize if you're sad or depressed or anxious, fearful, worried, you're focusing on the crap. You're focusing on what you don't want. So change that focus. It's easy to do. Change that focus. And if you want, if we have time, guys, I'll give you one last tool on how to do that and how to change that emotional state. Do you guys want one more powerful tool to go from sad to happy, or self-conscious to confident, or from nervous to pumped and excited? Would that be helpful? Yeah? Okay. All right. All right. So here's the last one. Here's the last tool I want to give you guys. Last tool. So past positive memories, intense past positive memories are very, very powerful. And they can snap you out of a state really, really quickly. You guys might right now already have some past intense positive memories. Maybe it's as a kid. Maybe it's getting your first car or getting your first bike. For me, it was getting my boat. I got a boat about 10 years ago. I got a boat for my lake. And it was so exciting. And I was going fast on the lake, on the water. And that was an area. So right now, try this. Anytime you need to be in a powerful state, if you need to do a presentation or an exam or homework, or if just you're feeling sad or depressed or upset, it's because you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on the negative. So instead, what I want you to do is visualize a past positive, intense state, whatever state you want to feel. If you want to feel pumped and confident, visualize a past positive, intense state to feel confident. If you want to feel excited or ecstatic, visualize a past state. Or if you don't have a past state for that, visualize what it will be like. Or visualize if you've seen someone who looks, again, model someone. If you visualize and you see someone, or before you know someone that you've seen who's been confident, visualize you as them. Visualize you being that person yourself. You know, Superman, Superwoman. Visualize you as that person, standing tall. Superman or Superwoman, whatever it is, superhero. Visualize that past recalled memory where you were positive, you were pumped, where you were confident, or where you were excited, where you were, totally unstoppable, totally excited, totally happy, totally grateful, totally thankful, totally happy. Whatever state you need right now, close your eyes, go back to a previous positive state and go there and look through your own eyes and literally be there in your mind's eye. Be there in your mind's eye and focus on that. Go back and focus and feel what you felt at that time. Feel the feelings, see what you saw, and hear what you heard, whatever it is, these great things you're hearing. Maybe there's a taste, maybe there's a smell. What are you feeling, seeing, tasting, smelling, touching? Is it high-fiving? What is it, the touch of someone on you? Whatever you're feeling. Maybe it's even feeling loved. Go back to these intense times, go back to these emotions, and go back and visualize them and literally go there, be there, visualize looking through your own eyes, feeling, looking around in your mind's eye, you are there, and feel all these exciting, powerful, confident emotions. Whatever emotion you want, whatever mental, emotional state you need to be in for, again, a presentation, a talk, a graduation, an exam, a hiring conversation, enrolling someone, having a tough talk, talking to a potential hiring manager, recruiter, whatever. What that state is, close your eyes, go back to that time in your life where you were there in the past and be there, literally be there, and bring that emotion, bring that feeling, grab it, reach out and grab it and bring that feeling back to now. And if you don't have a situation in the past like that, you can visualize someone else that you've seen someone in that state. And visualize you as that person. Visualize them first and then change their face so it's you. Change their body so it's you that's that pumped and that confident. And that, my friends, will change you and will change your emotional and physical state. And then you will be unstoppable. And that, I think that's all I wanted to share with you. I have another presentation in a few minutes, but I have a few minutes for any questions you guys want to ask. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to know, want to hear about? Any questions? How do you guys like that? I hope that was valuable. I hope that was helpful. I know I've given you a lot of techniques, a lot of tools. Luckily, I noticed that this was being recorded as well. So go back to it and go over these tools and techniques because these are very, very powerful. Again, they're used often with the military, with governments, with political leaders, with the army, with PTSD, trauma, phobia victims. And it's very powerful. The things I've taught you today are very easy and very, very powerful. You're very welcome. You're very welcome, guys. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Very, very much. James, it's been really interesting. And I just wanted to ask you something. All the techniques you have taught us today, definitely they are very good exercises. And what I want to ask you, it's probably this empowerment is not probably happening overnight. So there is a little bit of exercise that we need to do on ourselves, right? So I think it's a good message maybe to give to all of us that we still have to be good to ourselves, not to expect too much from one day to another. What do you think? Yeah, because we're often, and a lot of people are perfectionists, right? And I always say, my pleasure, Kimmelia. You're right. We often want to be perfect. And remember that done is better than perfect. We often judge ourselves, worry, put too much pressure on ourselves because we think things need to be done perfectly. And remember, it'll never be perfect. There's no such thing. So again, done is better than perfect. And to your point, sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need to give yourself a break. If you're frustrated, you're upset at something, maybe take a break. Take an hour off, take a half day off, take a day off, take a week off, whatever you need. Because avoid being too hard on yourself. No one's perfect. Rome wasn't built in a day. Life doesn't happen instantly in a day. So yes, do your best and also avoid being too hard on yourself. Listen to your body as well. If you need to rest,
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Avoid being too hard on yourself. Avoid expecting too much of yourself because it'll wear you out. Absolutely a great point. Absolutely a great point, Sarah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Okay. So I just want to give a couple of contact details.
Thank you.
Let me see. So we have in contact with the International Students Office as usual. We have added here also James' contacts in case you want to, for instance, get a copy of his book, or if you have any question for him. And this www.unleashyourpower.com, that's his website. Well, the last website, Tigers Eye NLP Coaching. This is the coaching company that has put us in contact with James, and we would like to thank them as well.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Yeah, okay. Jennifer, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. Okay. So this is it for the session with James today. So if we don't have any more questions, we thank you again, and who knows, maybe we will ask you to join us again another time.
Sure. It'd be a pleasure. It'd be a pleasure.
Thank you.
Any questions, guys? You want to clarify anything I've talked about? Again, my email address is there, james@unleashyourpower.com, or if you want to get in touch with Jennifer or look at her coaching as well, tigerseye.nlpcoaching.com. Thank you very much, Jennifer, for connecting us as well. And if you want to visit my website, unleashyourpower.com, or again, Amazon, search my name, James R. Elliot, and Unleash Your Power if you want to look at the book. I'd love to stay in touch. Feel free. And if you want to email me, I even have a weekly video tip that I give out as well. And I have a YouTube channel. So if you want, we can get in touch. But be in touch. I'd love to be in touch with you all. It's my pleasure to serve. Have a great, great day, everyone. This too shall pass, and I promise it'll make you stronger. So I encourage you to think about it. Write down how it has made you stronger.
Okay. All righty. Thank you so much, James.
My pleasure.
Thank
you.
you.
Guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I would like to answer another question that I read in the chat that is concerning if you guys in Milan, if you can visit your friends. Unfortunately, this is not possible. Not now, not according to the new presidential decree. We will need to wait. Possibly something new will come out the 18th of May. So you cannot visit your friends, but you can exercise, you can go to the park. So I don't want to suggest this, but maybe you can see your friends at the park without being close. At the park, it will be 2 meter distance from one another, but you cannot gather for a party or something like that. The other question was, how do we come back to Italy if we are abroad? Okay, at the moment, it's not possible, I would say, because the only reason for someone who is outside to come back to Italy is for a very strict, essential, and urgent need. And the other thing is that those who would find a flight to come back to Italy now, they would need to be in quarantine for 14 days. So these are the two questions I read. Shishi, did you see any other questions? No.
Okay, there's a new message. No. Second. Can we take the train from the suburban area to city center?
Yes, yes. I forgot actually to mention, this is very important. You can use your public transport. The public transport will be I mean, the access will be reduced in the sense that only 25% of its capacity will be guaranteed, so that there can be at least 1 meter distance from one person to another. Okay, but you still need to justify why you move from your address to another address. So that remains until the 18th of May. Okay.
Another question, was there something mentioned about when are things going to be completely normal?
No, no, of course they cannot say that because it really depends on the curve of infections. So if the curve remains flat and goes down, the opening will increase, will progress. So at this stage they say if everything goes well, it means that the number of infections continues to decrease as it is now. The 1st of June everything will reopen. So cafes, restaurants, and all shops will be reopened by the 1st of June. So I would say around the 1st of June or the 15th of June, if everything is improving constantly, there might be some very good news. But at this stage, we don't know. We cannot say.
I think because Sharon was saying if there's anything can be going back like completely normal, I would say to be completely normal, we have to wait until the vaccination comes out. So I think it will take another couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be able to go back to normality, but not only in Italy, in all countries, there will be some sort of social distancing and protection, wearing masks for several months. So that's one thing. But yes, probably you want to know when we'll be able to travel. So we will see. It depends really on the trend of the infection.
There's another question about is the renewal of the permit of stay would be a good reason to be able to come back to Italy?
No, it's not. It's not considered. It's not a good reason enough at this stage. It's not among the urgent reasons because at this stage all permits validity have been extended until the 15th of June. So even if your permit is about to expire, you will be able to apply for renewal after the 15th of June.
And can we travel inside the Lombardia region?
You can travel within Lombardia, but at this stage, you still need to justify why you're traveling. So it's whether it's for studying, for work, for assisting a family member, or for visiting a close family member.
So does everything open mean also the international borders for students to come back?
We don't know about international borders. At this stage, we can say they are closed. They're still closed, and you can only come back to Italy if you are an Italian who has been stuck in another country. Now you can re-enter, and you will be subject to quarantine for 14 days when you enter Italy. Yeah, more questions? So we will keep you updated. We expect new measures to come out probably the 18th of May or at the latest the 1st of June. So we will keep you updated, and we will keep meeting you here on our webinar on a weekly basis, maybe every 10 days, we will see. And you're very welcome to write the questions or the topics that you would like us to go through with you. And also, if there's any of you who would like to tell us about your own experience, that would be also very nice. Okay, there's one last question. The declaration is the one that we need to print out. You can visit not our website, sorry, the MIP for Students website. There's the International Students Office section, and in the frequently asked questions have a link to the form. But Samantha, just write us a mail and we send you the link. Maybe it's easier. And as I said, this declaration that is available now will be changed in the next couple of days. So now you can still use it, but don't worry, if you're stopped by a policeman, you can even just sign a form on the spot with them. Okay, but it's very important if you're moving from a suburb to the city, if you're taking the train, it's very important that you have this declaration with you. Okay. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so thank you so much for being with us. And we'll see you again soon. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.